Hello everyone, we're going to do Metasploitable 2, right? So we're going to test out some stuff. So let's do an Nmap scan. I was trying to figure out if I had SMB client. Obviously I don't. So like I said prior, this is Metasploitable 2, which is a machine, but it's a virtual machine that's running on my other computer. So this is not public, you can't access this. You have to download it and run it on your own machine, your own device, on a virtual machine, and it has a lot of vulnerabilities. It has a web application, has a lot of vulnerabilities. Check this out. So quite a few interesting protocols that are running on this machine. So for example, this service, this MySQL, so it's running a web application as well. And the interesting thing is that, I mean, look at this FTP, we can log in look, this is a vulnerability right now. There could potentially be a vulnerability with this, which is like anonymous FTP login, or that gives you root access or something if you don't secure the shell correctly. But the one that I really want to look at is this one here, Java RMI. So essentially what that is, I'll explain that to you. So it's essentially, the Java programming language. If you're a server administrator or something and you're not around your computer or something or whatever, it's kind of similar to SSH, but it stands for Java Remote Method Invocation, Java IMI, which is Object-Oriented RPC mechanism. In simple terms, that just means that it allows a developer to make a Java object available on the network. It has a TCP port open, port 1099, and you can connect to it and call methods from that session on that server. So you can, as a client, you can connect to it and you can do that stuff. The reason why this is vulnerable is because I'm gonna leave that there. There's just something else that comes with it, which I'm gonna show you now. If I run Metasploit Framework, or that's a little bit small to read, it's fine. But let me just show you something really interesting. So I'll just wait for Metasploit to open up, and then I'm gonna use auxiliary scanner, which I did with, that's the exploit, but sometimes it doesn't work, so I need to make sure if it is vulnerable. So you can use this module, this auxiliary scanner, to see if this vulnerability is valid, and you can exploit it. So basically what this will do, it will just go and scan it to see if it is vulnerable. So you can see it says scan completed. It says class loader enabled module. There is something that we can do here, right, which I'll explain in just a second. So I had to stop recording there for just a second, but now we are back. So essentially what this is, it's basically an auxiliary scanner which scans to see if it is exploitable. If we take a look at the options, we set it again to the target address, the IP address, and it's going to do this. So there's no names found. And by the way, if you do J, that's not actually going to do anything in particular, but it says no names found. But what we can do is now use an exploit. I have to go back to my, so you can use that one, but okay, so I'm talking about this one here. And by the way, if you don't know where to search this, you can just search for Java RMI like that, not JavaScript, by the way. But so you can scan for insecure endpoints, and if you actually want to connect to it, no, don't do this one. That's not it. The one that you want to use is the exploit one. Where is it? This one. So use by option set rhost again to the address, target address, and I think that is that the right? Oh no, sorry, that's not the right one. It's definitely not the right one. By the Java RMI. What else do you? I guess you can go. Let's just have a look. I think it's this one. Yeah. So use 8. Yeah, it's this one. Sorry. So we have to set the rhost to 192.168.1.256 run, and it's gonna exploit that vulnerability. And now we are literally in the server. So it's connected to it. It spawned a interpreter shell. Now we can interact with it. We can say system info. We can do shell to see the Python version. So the Python version is that. So we're gonna spawn a pty shell, pty.spawn. Oops, my bad. There we go. Okay, now we are in. Let's just explore the terminal so we can interact with the session. Now we are actually in, but there's actually a problem. We are actually root, and that's actually very dangerous, right? So you want to patch that vulnerability quickly. But now we can actually mess around. We can see the files. We can edit the directories. We can upload another malicious script or file. We can see the PHP code. That's just the index of it. But if we go into PHP, my admin, you got all of this that you can mess around with, bro, which is actually very dangerous. So for example, cat server database.php, database is a PHP, and you can read through the code, and you can also spot if there's any other vulnerability. And by the way, that's not what you want to be doing. You don't want to be do that one in particular, because that's got nothing to do with that. But actually, I'm just showing you as an example what you can do if you gain access to a server. Obviously, this is for educational purposes. I'm just showing you this so you can understand. But let's say you found a vulnerability in the login, you can see the queries here. It could be potential RESTful SQL injection vulnerabilities. So they could be a potential risk here with the SQL queries. So anyways, I don't cover our tracks now. So we are done poking around. We're done uploading malicious files and stuff for that. Educational purposes, by the way. We're done doing that and securing things as an ethical white hat hacker. We want to make sure, because we're doing all this stuff as a root. It's an interesting thing that we need to be careful of though. And that's our log. History? Okay, there's actually nothing in it, but that's interesting because I think I cleared it, that's why it's not. But what you would do is you would echo something random, like empty, and then you'll put it into that file, like maybe .bash history, and then if you do bash history, I don't seem I can do that. Okay, there we go. Oops, .bash this story, there we go. So there's actually nothing in it. Another one you could do to clear your tracks to get rid of the history, right? You just get rid of the history. You don't want it. Cat bash C. Okay, so we've got all of that under control. Okay, so we can also do this. By the way, we do history. So this is our history as the user right now. The session, that's all we've done, right? But what we can do is do history clean. So if we do history again, there's nothing. Because I've cleared it. So that's what you want to do before you exit the shell. Just clear that completely. Another place you want to clear logs is in the var folder, the log folder. So you go into the logs. What you can do is shred it completely. You can shred the FTP logs. You can shred the, the user log. You can shred the off.log. So if someone does cat off log, see then there's nothing in it. And if you just want to make it look like this, make it so unreadable, you could also do that. You can clear all these logs. Like I said, if you do history now, you see they can see that. You want to do history clean and they'll be gone, right? And also, since you are root, you can actually git clone a thing called, right? There's a tool on GitHub called cover or something that can actually cover and delete all the logs. Everything that we just did was manual, which is fine. You don't actually need this GitHub at all. You could just use that to clear logs completely. So get rid of the bash history, get rid of the logs, and then like I said, do history, the story clean. Done. And if there's any other sessions that's running, you can kill that sessions route, but like I said, history clean, and then exit, and then you're gone. Right, completed. Shut down, boom, gone. And that's it. But yeah, so that was the JMI exploit, Java. That was the Java exploit for that. So you want to make sure that you don't want to have that running at all. You don't want to have the RMI servers running. It can lead to a lot of RMI endpoints being vulnerable and open. And there's a lot of attacks against this. They can do remote methods, like brute forcing attacks, brute forcing remote methods against this service that is open to RMI, right? So if you don't want to have it running, you want to keep it clean, and you want to make sure you don't have this protocol running on your network, on the server, whatever it is. Anyways, and if you do, make sure it's secure properly. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. Peace.